Hello YouTube, welcome to Movie Talk, the very first episode. Today we're going to be talking about They/Them.
No! God, please, no! No!
This is the new horror movie from Blumhouse, streamed only on Peacock, and there's a reason it's only streamed on Peacock. It is a movie where the premise is these LGBTQ kids go to a gay conversion camp that's ran by Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon does a good job in this movie. He's a good actor, and he does a good job coming off as very nice at the beginning and respectful to everybody. And then gradually through the film, you start to see his sadistic, crazy side. And he does a good job conveying those emotions, and that performance was just good. Like I said, he just comes off as really likable, and just really takes a turn with his character. It's good. And then the person that plays the main character, I guess he's considered the main character. They never really established a main character, but he's the one that gives, he's the rebellious character, so I guess he's the main character. Is John, the trans non-binary character. He does a good job. All the actors do a good job. You know, they do a good job conveying the emotions of these kids that are gay and trans, and they feel unaccepted and they just want to be accepted. Like the dilemma they have with that. They do a good job conveying those emotions and really getting the point across that they feel like that. You know, other than the performances of the actors, this movie really sucks. It calls itself a horror movie, but there's no horror elements at all really throughout the whole movie. 1 hour of it is just like a Lifetime movie about kids at a gay conversion camp. That's really what it feels like to me. You know, everybody has their own opinion, but that's just what it felt like to me. And it had horror sprinkled in. There's a kill at the beginning of the movie, and then no horror for a whole hour. It's bullshit. Bullshit! I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to explore the horrors and what goes on at some gay conversion camps with the campers being mistreated and all that stuff. They just don't. They start off that story with the kid, they start off the hinting, and then the main character John finds the pictures of the kids that have been beaten through the years and physically abused by the camp counselors and all that through the years. But then they never finish on that. They never really hit the mark on that opening setup. The setup never pays off, if that makes sense. There are some stereotypical characters. Like there's a really flamboyant character that looks like Lil Nas X. He's just really way stereotypically flamboyant. One of my favorite scenes involves him. There's a scene where Kevin Bacon tells him to shoot the dog and he can't do it. And then John ends up shooting, and after John shoots the dog, he just goes, and falls down. And they all catch him and stuff. That was my only favorite scene of the movie. Other than that, and then the end credits when it went off is my favorite part of the movie. Now the counselors, they are previous members of the camp. They're previous campers that have went to the camp and went through all the abuse and the messes and they have literally been scared straight for the most part. There's a scene where the campers are, the guy campers and the girl campers are sent to do gender role exercises. And then the girl counselor leading the exercise, their exercise was to make pies. And she keeps making seductive comments to the one blonde girl and trying to seduce her. And she tells her to stay after class by herself and talk to her for a second, but she ends up just rubbing all over and trying to seduce her and come on to her and make her have sex with her. It don't work. She runs out. She's sitting on the pier smoking a doobie, and another lesbian camper with short hair, she's redheaded, short redhead, comes and sits with her on the pier, and she tells her everything that happened in the cabin after she left, and then she starts crying and saying how she just wants to be accepted and not feel like a freak. And then the short-haired one tells her she lied about her backstory, and she's actually there writing a paper on how gay conversion camps are treating people and how much of a bad place they are. They end up bonding and they end up having a sex scene. It looks like it goes from a Lifetime movie about kids at a gay conversion camp to a porno.
Very nice.
Just 0 to 100 real quick. Just they start kissing and making out and it gets real steamy.
Very nice.
And then it shows the scene of the short-haired lady in between the blonde lady's legs, and then it cuts away. Then after that, there is a really, really gritty gay scene that left me feeling like this.
Oh, my eyes! Ah! The pain! Ah!
Yeah, it was pretty graphic. It ends up to be a trap. They planted a fake camper in there to seduce the guy and basically use it as a test. And after that, Kevin Bacon walks in and the other counselor guy walks in, and they take the guy to a chair and strap him up to it, and they hook a car battery to him and show him pictures of women in lingerie and men without shirts on, and they see his eyes get wide with the men pictures, and they shock him. They're basically trying to shock him too and shock him straight. Like shock him into being straight and scare him into being straight, using shock therapy on him basically. Other than the other examples of them belittling the campers literally and yelling at them and calling them worthless or like sissies and stuff like that, cussing at them, you don't see any more of the abuse of the campers. There is this therapist that they basically send her to her. They send the campers to her, and she basically just does the same thing as the other counselors. She belittles them, gets inside their head. Like, she gains their trust by telling her how her parents didn't accept her lifestyle either. She said she wanted to be a whore at one time, and her parents didn't accept her either. And she gets in their head like that. And then it just slowly turns into her belittling them, telling them they ain't nothing because they're gay, or they'll never be accepted. They want special treatment. They want to be called they. It's really messed up and twisted. But like I said, after that, they really don't go anywhere with the treatment of the campers. After that, it don't pay off. There's just no payoff with it. After John goes and sees the therapist, she gets in his head, makes him feel worthless and questions himself again. That's another thing too. Like the characters do a good job conveying the emotions of the characters, but every scene is the same thing. They feel sorry for themselves and they complain. They question themselves and complain. They just constantly feel sorry for themselves and express that they're feeling sorry for themselves, and they want to fit in. That's all they say throughout the whole movie, is they just want to fit in, they want to fit in, they want to fit in. I get that the message is to be yourself and love who you are, but they just, in every scene they constantly say, I want to fit in, I want to fit in, I want to fit in. And it just gets irritating after a while. You hear the same thing over and over. There was a part that made me laugh too. I didn't mean to laugh at it, but it was funny. This one girl, she turned out to be trans, but she said she was a woman, and they said not to lie and go to your actual gender cabin. They split men and women, and she goes out to have a shower in the middle of the night. I first watched it, I was like, who in the world showers in the middle of the night? I said, she's probably going to get killed because it's a horror movie and she showered in the middle of the night. Well, it's a fake out scare. It's not really a good fake out scare, but it's a fake out scare moment. It don't do nothing. It's really not scary. And it don't show you that she has a wiener, but you get the idea she has a wiener because the next shot is them taking her to the men's cabin and saying, y'all have a new roommate. It made me laugh because it turned out she had a...
Johnson.
It made me think of the Naked Gun scene where he's about to have sex with that girl, and then... Yeah, it just made me laugh. Another thing is, it's also kind of like a mystery whodunit type thing. They try to establish a red herring with the groundskeeper, but there's no point in doing that if he's only gonna be killed off a few scenes later, mixed in with the hour-long Lifetime movie that you're trying to put in the horror movie. They make him look really creepy and just pervy on the women, and then make him look like a red herring, possible killer suspect. Then boom, just a few scenes later, he's out, he's dead. So it's just pointless. And also during the gun range scene I was talking about earlier, they established that John, the main character, can shoot really good. He's a really good shot. He studied marksman classes and stuff like that. So he can shoot a gun. He knows how to shoot a gun. But it don't pay off in the final act. Like, he don't do nothing with that skill. It's just a empty character trait that has nothing to do with the story. And that irked me a little bit too. Alright, now, this is where some spoilers are going to come in. So if you don't want to watch this part, I understand. Just skip to my rating of it and my final thoughts. Alright. So it turns out Molly, the nice counselor I mentioned earlier, when John found the pictures, she was actually an old camper that went there a long time ago. Her name was Angie. And she had killed the real Molly in the beginning on her way to the camp. And took on her persona to infiltrate the camp and kill the corrupt counselors. There's a scene where the two counselors, the guy counselor and the girl counselor, they look at pictures of, they're still kind of gay and lesbian, so they're getting ready to have sex and stuff, and they pull up a picture of a girl and a guy, and he's looking at the guy picture and she's looking at the girl picture while they're doing it. And then out of nowhere, the killer just comes in and slices them with the axe, but it cuts away before you see anything. You just hear it and see their feet on the bed, like shaking, like where they're getting cut. And then it shows the long-haired gay guy that seduced the other guy, and it shows him in the middle of the lake, and then he sees the killer and gets knocked out or something. I forgot how he got knocked out, but he gets knocked out, and he gets put in the chair by the killer and gets shocked to death by the killer. But it just happens so quick. Like, there's no suspense, no thriller, no nothing. Just boom, 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 dead. Like, and it don't show no gore or nothing. After all the quick killings just shoot into the movie, they quickly find the bodies too. It's just really quick. They don't even have that final character moment where they find all the bodies everywhere. They're just all in conveniently one place. So like, yeah, let's move this along and end this movie. You know, it's kind of like that. So that's the feel I got from it. They all group together, and they decide to go get the bus to get out of there, and they get everybody out of there. Where they send the one person that actually has a willy to take some of the other campers out already and try to get help and go to the bus or whatever. And Kevin Bacon sends the therapist to get the guns. He don't want the campers to leave. He sends the therapist to get the guns out of the cabinet in the office. Well, she don't come back for a while. Then John goes himself to go get the guns and see what's going on with that. Then he hears Kevin Bacon coming too, shortly after he goes to get the guns. So he goes back in the closet.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But yeah, he's hiding in the closet, and he looks over and he sees the body of the therapist where their throat slit. So you don't even see that on camera. You just see the gore. It's not that good of gore either. It's just, just standard throat slit. Then he sees the killer walk in on Kevin Bacon. Shortly after walking in, the killer takes the mask off, and I called this twist from a mile away when they introduced her, especially at the picture scene, and then some other scenes where she was trying to like look like she was snooping. They made it look like she was actually a counselor. They were trying to make it look like that. She was actually a counselor, and then when John found the pictures, she trying to make it seem like she was shocked that it was going on, and she had no idea. And then she's trying to look. They show other scenes where it looks like she's trying to snoop around and make it look like she's trying to see what's going on. But I knew from the beginning she was the killer anyway, killing all the counselors. I just called it from a mile away, so I wasn't shocked at all. And she reveals her backstory where she was Angie and she was plotting to kill them, get revenge on how they treat people, and then plan to go to other camps. Well, John comes back out of the closet.
You suck, you jackass!
And then points the gun at both of them, or at Kevin Bacon, and gets him to stop, like, tussling on the ground or whatever. And then Angie tries to get her to shoot Kevin Bacon, or get him to shoot Kevin Bacon. and he won't do it. He's like, it's wrong, even though he's mistreating us because we are the way we are. It's wrong. And so Angie takes it upon herself, and there's a stuffed rhino hanging in there. He has a lot of animals in the office, like he's a hunter, and a lot of stuffed animal heads there and all that. And she impales him on a rhino horn. That's the only kill you get to see. It's the best kill of the movie. It's still not great, but it's the only good kill in the movie, where Kevin Bacon just gets impaled by the rhino horn, and then she cuts his throat too. It was a decent kill, and then she's trying to get John to come with her and go to other camps and kill counselors and get revenge on gay conversion camps. Well, John decides, he's like, that's not right either. So he just walks out, and you see the police lights while he's having that conversation on why he ain't going to do it. And he's walking out as the cops are storming in to get Angie. And it just ends with them taking her away in a police car. And then John just leaves too. And that's pretty much it. It's just, like I said, it's just bland, boring, barely any horror in it. The scariest part is when they randomly break out into a song and dance number singing Perfect by Pink. It's just out of place. It went from Lifetime movie to musical in a matter of seconds. I understand what they were trying to convey with it. It just seemed out of place. Like, they're already saying that message. You don't need that dance number to convey what you're trying to say. But that's my final thoughts. It opened up a lot of conversations and interesting thoughts to have, but they just didn't close out any of them. It was just executed poorly. The horror just seemed shoot in, like they had a script for a Lifetime movie and then wanted to add horror in it. It's bland. No horror at all. So I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 5 because the acting was good. And you can tell they all tried in the performances, but it just fell flat for me as a horror movie. As a horror fan, it's just not scary or anything worth calling it a horror movie. Well, that's my thoughts on it. Just let me know in the comments below, or if you want to, let me know what you think of the movie, how you felt about it. If anyone watches it, of course, they probably won't watch it, but if not, it's alright. I understand. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.